in a perfect world, we get what we work for. So this thing we live in called America is this economy that is based on the fact that if you work hard, you earn what you're worth, basically. And so just imagine being a college student, a full-time college student, and you're working extra on top of that, already 40 hours a week, another 40 hours a week. It sounds a lot like a job, but it isn't. According to the USA Today newspaper, the average NCAA athlete spends around 40 hours a week on their athletics, whether it's practice, games, meetings, whatever it is, they spend an extra 40 hours a week. And that sounds a lot like a job, but they actually don't get what they work for, and I'll explain that later. So the problem arises, athletes get paid but in scholarship money, but the question arises, should they get paid as employed and not just grants, not just athletic scholarships? And so there is a need, and this need is that money needs to be supplied to college athletes. And so in order for athletes to get paid, where would this money come from? And so we think about the NCAA, we think about how much money is made, and the March Madness and NCAA championships, football championships, all the money that's made, millions of dollars. Athletes don't get one penny of that. And according to the USnews.com, without athletes, big money in college sports disappears. It's because of us, the athletes, that we make the NCAA. If it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be any March Madness, there wouldn't be any bowl championship series, there wouldn't be any national titles, there wouldn't be any games to go to, any college sports to go to. And so it seems like college athletes are getting the lower end of the stick. And so the need is that they deserve a wage, but a lot of people would argue that they're already getting a wage by getting grants, by athletic scholarships. But what about the people who are on partial scholarships? What about people who are walk-ons, who say that they're actually play, but are only walk-ons? And so basically, it can come down to athletic scholarships are basically glorified Pell Grants, because Pell Grants come from the government. You don't need to pay them back. Athletic scholarships, you don't need to pay back. It's free money, but there needs to be more. And since I don't have a PowerPoint, I came up with I found this on CNBC.com, a graph of March Madness, and it's March Madness trumps pro sports leagues. And what this is showing is how much money is made postseason versus the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, and the NHL. And it shows that actually March Madness college basketball makes more money than the NFL does, than any other professional sports team does. And so that's saying a lot, but with that said, we don't get any of that. So the satisfaction of this is that collegiate athletes should be paid. Where would the money come from? Well, according to BusinessInsider.com, a federal work-study program would allow athletes to be hired as employees, and so it gets rid of the whole thing of amateurism and just kind of the whole thing about amateurism was that it focuses on the game and not so much more the money and the work aspect of it, because that's what happens in the NFL. It turns a lot more into money, but we have to think about the well-being of what, like, our daily lives. And so a federal work study I found from businessinsider.com quotes this. It says, a federal work study is a federally funded aid program that gives students jobs during the school year in which they can earn up to a certain amount of money based on need. Students can work up to 20 hours per week and can earn up to $4,000 during the school year and $3,000 during the summer. Typically, the federal government contributes 75% of the students' pay, with the rest paid by the school. Now, it was said that approximately $50.6 million was given to students all around the country and this kind of money, federal work study money. And around 75% of all students in America actually needed funds. But if we did that with collegiate athletes, a federal work study would work, because based on the BCS, for example, they've made hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of money. And so how much more could they could find money to get the 50 million that they could distribute. And also another thing that I thought about personally was to just get rid of the whole athletic scholarship thing together and make it more on hiring them, because it would get rid of a lot of loopholes. Like, we have, for example, guys that will take advantage of a full scholarship and they might quit before a season or that, and then they'll have to be paid that money, and then it'll get rid of wasted money. And then also it would hold them more accountable, because people that would start or play games more would be raised in money. And so somebody that wants to make more money is going to want to work harder to get that starting spot and not just be lazy. And so with this, if this was to happen, there would be many benefits. According to youruniversity.tv.com, scholarships are good in that they pay for a lot of things, but they don't cover every single thing that we need, because sometimes scholarships run out. For example, again, personally for me, I ran out of swipe money on my card, and I had to look around I had to ask other people for money on their cards, but I'm on scholarship though. And so allowing athletes to be paid would allow them to further cover their tuition, food, board, travel, and books, which I couldn't afford all on my own because I was only on 50% scholarship. So, and with all this being said, it really is comparable to a job, because we put more, if not equal, if not more time into football than we do classes. And another thing that this could help out with is that that a lot of athletes, there's been stories of athletes that have come from poverty type backgrounds that have gotten athletic scholarships, hoping to go pro and help their families out. And so this money could just be used to help them out, help their families out sooner, so they wouldn't have to use it later on. They wouldn't have to wait later on for them to maybe make it to the pros. And so with this is something that could happen. It's something that wouldn't happen overnight. It was something that would maybe take even 5 to 10 years, but it's something that definitely could happen. And so what would it take? It would take going to our legislators and multiple things, signing a petition, but first doing your own research. And we have the upcoming elections coming up, and that could be one thing that could be changed. I want to see NCAA athletes get what they work for. And again, I would just say, let's keep it going. Let's continue to get what we work for. And so.